This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing, O?
I can't wait, man. Freaking
first
camp
day
is
of
finally
school.
here.
First day of camp.
Yeah, dude. Finally, man. It'd be nice to hit some camp and start watching. Although the first couple of days is nothing.
Yeah, they're not practicing today, and so tomorrow will be the first practice day. But you won't see any of the really ramped up stuff probably until the weekend, going into next week.
Right. Yeah. When fans come out Sunday.
Yes.
Probably.
So fans, you're not missing a ton. Fans always ask, like, why can't we go to this practice? Why you can't? I'm like, trust me, we're gonna see these guys on the field, and trust me, we're gonna tell you what's happening. But you'll see the most interesting stuff probably starting Sunday and going through the rest of camp.
Is this true? Bronny James just had a cardiac arrest and rushed to the hospital? You got to be kidding me. That's a child.
Right.
I
don't know. I see I see Shams reporting it. Shams is reporting he's in stable condition. He's taken to the hospital. No longer. But yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, collapsed on the court Monday, had a cardiac arrest. He was taken to the hospital. He's now in stable condition, no longer in the ICU. Statement yesterday while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He's now in stable condition, no longer in ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for James' family. We will update the media. There's more information about this matter. Thanks. Appreciation to the UFC medical staff and athletic staff.
Wow. Wow. It is.
Every day you open your eyes is a blessing, period. Every single day you open your eyes is a blessing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It is, and nobody's exempt. No matter how much money you make or what role you have or whatever it is, everybody is privy to life's ups and downs. So sounds like from what the tweet was, he's going to be okay, but it's still super scary. So,
Yeah. Okay, now, but what's this long term mean? That's
Right.
really the question. Will the young man be able to continue his career? That's really and live a normal life, which is actually the most important thing.
Absolutely.
In the end, he'll be all right as long as he doesn't end up with Larsa Pippen. All right. Anyway, let's get to it. Saquon Barkley, what'd you think of the deal he got, and what's that going to lead to?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's not much of a different deal than the franchise tag. Like, I guess my thing was a Zoom meeting with running backs about how there's issues, we need to fix it. But the day or two later, Saquon takes a deal that's essentially the same. I just think that running backs are in a very precarious situation. It doesn't seem. And so Saquon's doing a deal that gives him an extra $900,000 in incentives, but only if the Giants make the playoffs. He can be tagged next year. It doesn't do anything to the market. If anything, it sets it back even further. And so I don't really have much more to say than Saquon. I get it.
Weren't you privy to the big fullback meeting?
No.
Weren't big centers post-play meeting that, like, hey man, what happened to us? Like, they don't throw it to us anymore at the post. We don't play that game anymore. What happened to were you there at the post-players meeting? Because, I mean,
what, all three of them, the remaining three? The remaining three.
My point is, the wedge busters on returns. Were you part of that meeting with the wedge busters? Because
no.
they disappeared too, the wedge busters.
Yeah.
I kind of laugh with this whole meeting of the running backs. Like, you guys have no leverage. You have nothing to say, really. You can bitch and complain all you want, but you got no control. The game is changing. Right. And you're not gonna that's like saying, okay, you know what, Cam, you and I are going to stop this tsunami that's about to hit South Florida. Let's go out to the beach and hold out our arms, and we'll stop the tsunami.
Yeah.
We'll slow that big ass wave down. No, we're not doing. It's something you cannot stop at this point in time, and so that's why I asked you, what's it going to lead to? Because, and by Saquon taking that deal, he basically said, well, at least I could guarantee some money now because I'm not going down to Le'Veon Bell because I don't know what Josh Jacobs is thinking. But, dude, you're going to have to report at one point or another.
Absolutely. And you saw Jonathan Taylor was upset, but he just reported today as well. There's not a lot of leverage. The way the new CBA works, if you get fined, you can't get those fines rescinded. A lot of times players will just say, out of camp because I know the team will rescind my fines once we resolve this. Now they can't do that. And so that's why you see situations like Xavier a year or two ago where he holds in, and with other players where they come into camp and say, hey, I tweaked a hamstring or I tweaked an ankle, because it's not worthwhile to hold out. But this running back market doesn't look like it's going to get any better for them anytime soon.
All right. Tyreek Hill, this part of it, I wasn't ever really worried. There was never going to be any criminal repercussions from this. He wasn't going to go to jail. He wasn't going to be on probation. If anything, he would have paid some kind of silly little fine, court fine, moved on, whatever. Pay the victims some kind of whatever for slapping him. So I was never worried about this end. The part I'm still worried about is what's the NFL doing? How good was this video? Is it obvious that he hits him? And because of the prior history, and I'm going to stick to my guns on this. The only thing I fear is a 1-game suspension from the NFL. Is that still something that I could fear for Tyreek Hill?
I mean, it's possible, but one thing first is the criminal situation seems to be resolved. The civil situation was what was resolved yesterday or today. That's essentially, if you want to get the layman's terms of that, Tyreek gave him an amount of money we're having, and now everybody's good. That's not
slightly more than $200. That's all I know.
Yes. So the NFL obviously can still put up to punishment even though there's no case. That being said, they have also been pretty judicious. You haven't seen a lot of suspensions with kind of off-season things that have been settled. The one caveat is the video is awful and it gets leaked, then it puts the NFL in a precarious situation. If it's not as bad, or if the public never sees it, then I think the most likely result is that Tyreek goes upon his business with no punishment from the NFL, or maybe a small fine.
Yeah, and by the way, that video still could come out now that all the legal issues are done and the guy got his money. If you want to now sell it to TMZ, they can now sell the video to TMZ because they're now free of anything. If they were worried about anything, now they're completely free. So that video is going to get out one way or another. And with the Ray Rice situation, I think the NFL learned its lesson that, if it's out there, we need to do something about it no matter what, because if it gets out and we didn't do the proper thing, like in the Ray Rice situation, it ends up becoming, a bad look for them. But I was never worried about legal. I was never worried about the money side of it. What's that called? When you have to pay the person, whatever the civil part of it. I wasn't ever worried about it. This is the part that I'm worried about. This is the only part that I could say, and because of all the legal issues being done right away, that this didn't drag on for 6 more months or a year, the NFL could definitely come to a resolution by the beginning of the season, and he could miss a game, because I that's what I fear the most is 1 game. I don't think it'll be any worse than that. If it's not a game, it'll be a fine. But he's going to get something from the NFL. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Even if it's a fine, possibly, a lot of times it's a strongly worded letter, like next year. We'll kind of see. But one thing I do know about the NFL's process, typically it's a year or 2 after where it comes about. So I don't know if it's something in 2023. It may be 2024, if anything.
Did you watch Quarterbacks on Netflix?
I did. I actually liked it. A lot of people complained that it wasn't, the hard hitting stuff, but I don't know what you expected, given the access. I like to see a different side of these players. Seeing Patrick Mahomes really be about the trash talk and cursing dudes out, that's a different side of Patrick Mahomes that people may not have known. Seeing Kirk Cousins and some of maybe the pains he goes through, we all kind of thought of Kirk Cousins as he's just kind of an average dad type quarterback, but you see a little bit more of his personality, his character, what shaped him. I think a lot of people went away with this being Kirk Cousins fans. I'm more of a Kirk Cousins fan watching that. And then Marcus is.
How do you not like Kirk Cousins?
Exactly. Right.
How can you? He's a great human being, bro. He's just a great human being. It's like Tua. It's the same shit. It's like, if you dislike Tua, there's something wrong with you, bro.
Right. What's the reason?
Come on, give me a break. And let me tell you something. The best part of that whole series, I'm going to tell you something that nobody says, because we're full of machismo, and we're full of testosterone and all of that shit. What stood out to me was all the wives.
Yeah.
That's what stood out to me, dude.
Yeah.
It was the wives.
Yep.
The fucking rocks that they are, bro.
Right.
For these guys.
Yeah.
Mariota wife has to reset in every sit. I was explaining it to my wife. This is a guy that is not. He's a fringe starter, more of a backup. So, they got 3-level quarterbacks. They got the stud, they got the good quarterback, and then they got the fringe quarterback. They gave you the 3 different kinds of quarterbacks.
I love that.
But think about Mariota wife has to adjust. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Mariota wife has to adjust every city, over and over again. And it's going to be a short shelf life. You know what I mean? And they're back to another city this year, And then I think Cousins' wife she's like a rock, dude. She's awesome. Okay.
Yes.
And they're as, wholesome and plain Jane as it gets. I get it. And then, say what you want about Mahomes' wife, Brittany, because she's so out there on social and all that. But you know what I learned in this show? She was with him when they were in middle school.
At the very start. Yeah. Yep.
And so she was, and he chased her, and they were nobodies when they met. They fell in love when they were kids.
Yeah.
So she's not a gold digger. She didn't get on when he was the big high school quarterback, getting the big, offers from everywhere and all that kind of shit. So you may not like her at times or whatever, but I respect her as a woman, that she's been with him from the get-go and has stuck with him. And that, for a guy that's been married, going to be 30 years in a couple of months, that means something to me. You know what I'm saying? Because my wife's been with me through all this shit for 36 years. And radio is like Marcus Mariota, so it's, what I'm saying? So that to me is what stood out about quarterbacks more than the players. It was great to get some of that insight. You're talking about Mahomes, but I think that the profile on the 3 women I thought was really, really important, because it's easier for all of us to succeed as men, if we really admit it, if we have strong women behind us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I got to go in a sec, 10:50. I got to be in the room for this X and Rheaume and Jalen are talking. But to respond to you there, I think you're right on the money. You need a support system to do this thing, especially to be a quarterback in this league. I know I need a support system. I've been married 5 years. My wife is a lot to me, and I haven't been nearly as many places as Marcus has been in the last 5 years. And so a lot of times we just see the front-facing quarterback, see the work that goes behind for them, but also the people who keep them in their mind right. And so I'm with you. That was a great part of the series.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the series. All right, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. That's his exceptional work there at the NFL Network. and I'll catch you at camp, and we'll talk later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate it.
Sounds great. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. There you go, Cameron Wolfe. We unleash the Wolf Pack.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.